Hey guys, today we're checking out a deep dive into my favorite faction, the Mechanicus. But I'm gonna need your toaster. Screen it, and away we go.
Out of all the factions that have come to inhabit the galaxy within the 42nd millennium, none truly capture the grimdark essence of what Warhammer 40k is all about, better than the Adeptus Mechanicus. Warhammer plays with a lot of different themes, some factions leaning into them more than the others. The Mechanicus somehow manages to combine all of them into a single perfect faction.
Because they're the best, obviously. We all know this, right, chat? Mechanicus are the best faction, hands down. I'm gonna get a lot of angry people in chat
Religious
right
fanaticism? Check. Spectacular levels of violence and never-ending war? Check. Cautionary commentary on the dangers of authoritarian regimes and rigid adherence to tradition? Check. They even managed to throw in a tasteful dose of grotesque body horror. I know Space Marines are supposed to be the poster boys of this franchise, but nothing.
No, it's not bait. I don't know what you're talking about. Now my knowledge is so small I couldn't
Screams
say.
40k to me quite like a tech priest dominus. They are a society of
Same.
machine-worshipping fanatics. Humanity's brightest scientists and engineers who wield some of the most advanced weaponry humanity has ever seen. Yet they have forsaken the path of progress through innovation, viewing the unsanctioned application of science to create new technology as a sin punishable by death.
Okay, the fact that that's a sin, I know because of like the fucking Men of Iron or whatever back in the prehistoric era of 40k. But like, come on, bro, they're doing God's work. The Mechanicus are doing good things. Let them have freedom. Let them do shit. Let them be scientists.
Instead, relying on the ancient technology of humanity's past. And in order to regain this lost archaeotech, they set off into the stars on a righteous crusade to acquire the most valuable of all resources: knowledge. But what exactly is
Knowledge. I want to put that meme. I wish that meme was on Tangier. You know, the knowledge one.
the Mechanicus all about? What is their role within the Imperium? How do they wage war, and what kind of weapons do they bring to battle? What is a tech priest, and are
Is that that's cosplay? Bro, that's fucked. That's actually fucked up. Oh my god, I don't like that. I don't like that. That's
they aware that they look unbelievably horrifying? We're going to be getting into all that and a whole lot more. There's a lot to cover with the Adeptus Mechanicus. Honestly, just looking at the timestamp, I think pretty sure this is my longest video yet. So sit back, get comfy, and maybe start painting some of those 40k miniatures in your pile of shame, because we're going to be diving headfirst into the grimdark. But before we get into all that, I want to tell you about these super cool t-shirts that you see in all my videos. Now, they come from this clothing company called Into the AM, an amazing one-of-a-kind clothing company that makes some of the coolest graphic tees on the entire internet. They're stylish, comfortable, and best of all, super affordable. They've been a sponsor of this channel for almost a year now, and I can honestly say that these are some of my favorite t-shirts that I own,
wrong,
as all of my friends will attest.
Okay, it's different. Okay, Diablo, they're not supplicants to the Necrons. They just want what the Necrons have. The reason I love Necrons and Admech so much is because they pair so well together. The Necrons want to go back to being flesh, which the Mechanicus kind of are, but the Admech want to become machine, like the Necrons are. So they both covet what the other have, kinda. It's a really cool like dynamic I fucking love about them.
I wear them all the time, and no matter how often I've sent them through the wash, the shirts haven't shrunk, their designs haven't cracked or faded, which is great for me because as somebody who is a huge fan of graphic tees, I can't tell you how many times I've had a favorite t-shirt that's ended up fading to the point where I basically either have to throw it away or retire it to the state of workout clothes. And that's yet to happen with any of my Into the AM shirts. They're also constantly coming out with new designs, of which I recently picked up a few of myself and couldn't be happier with them. The best part about Into the AM is that they're priced super reasonable, as you can get a bundle of 3 graphic tees for only $60. If you want something just as comfortable but a little less flashy, then you can get a bundle of 3 other basic tees for only $49.95. But the deals get even better than that, because
$49.95? Where do I sign up?
If you use the link in the description of this video, or code WesHammer at checkout, you can save an additional 10% off your entire order. And what's crazy is that discount stacks with everything else. Whether you're taking advantage of a sale, picking up one of the bundles, or grabbing something awesome out of their discount section. So head on over to intotheam.com/WesHammer today and
Okay, for real though, actually some of those designs kind of slapped. Some of those designs kind of slot really well.
Pick out something awesome. You can thank me later. Big thanks to Into the AM for sponsoring this video.
The machine god's faithful fight under the banners of their ancient forges, to the sound of binaric chants bellowed in praise to the Omnissiah. They wield some of the most advanced weaponry.
I'm sorry, chat, but this image here, this tech priest here, goes so hard. I wish GW had the balls to make this a model. This is so cool.
Humanity has seen since the days of the Dark Age of technology, and are responsible for the construction and maintenance of all of the towering war machines, weapons, and armor utilized by all of mankind's armies. To the Mechanicus, the quest for knowledge is a never-ending pursuit.
Yeah, that's the thing. With the Mechanicus, the Imperium needs Mechanicus. Otherwise, they get nothing. All their shit falls apart, and they get no more guns, no more bullets, no more tanks, nothing. They need the Mechanicus. They're vital.
The most holy of conquests. Data and technology are seen as sacred, and to blaspheme a machine's form through reckless innovation is a heretical sin, punishable by obliteration. They clad themselves in the armor of their faith, embraced behind the bulwark of tradition. By their will is the machine god's wrath made manifest, and all those that would blaspheme his name will be eradicated with cold, mathematical ruthlessness.
Based. Fucking based.
To witness the Adeptus Mechanicus marching to war is to see legions of cybernetic horrors and soulless automatons approaching as a holy procession. A righteous crusade that strides implacably forward on piston-driven limbs, ever onward in the quest for lost knowledge.
Bro, that statement alone just sounded so sick. It sounded so fucking cool. They're so fucking cool. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be fangirling a lot over Mechanicus. You're just gonna have to deal with it, guys. I'm afraid.
At one point in their lives, their soldiers were indistinguishable from other humans, but now their legions have been blessed with mechanical apotheosis through holy butchery on the anvils of their mighty forge worlds. Each and every one having been reborn as a twisted fusion of man and machine.
It's not twisted. It's normal, okay? Man should want to be machine. It's just that simple. We want to have, if you have like, I don't know, like your arm goes missing, like your arm just falls off, you just put on a machine arm and there you go. It's stronger, it's better, it's just more powerful, it won't fail you like a weak flesh arm will. It's just better. Become machine, chat. I'm not saying total machine, but cyborg. Become cyborg. No, yes, you're gonna be a cyborg and you're gonna like it.
Of their flesh stripped away and replaced with sanctified steel. Now reborn in the machine god's image and equipped with a vast array of cybernetic enhancements, they are molded into cold, logic-driven killing machines. It is their sacred duty to deliver the machine god's wrath to the witch, the heretic, and the alien. Now, alongside the foot-slogging infantry are ancient robotic constructs, each one a hulking giant.
Okay, these boys, I like the Castellans, but I hate the fucking Robbie the Robot fucking head they have. I think it looks so dumb. Even for Admech, which is renowned for being just goofy and fucking weird, it reminds me of Meet the Robinsons way too much, and I hate that. I hate the round dome it has. If I had any, I would fucking change the head for something else. It's so bad. It's so dumb.
With heavy firepower, they are supported by a host of spider-limbed vehicles that unleash heavy precision bombardments. Vanguard forces of rad troopers march ahead of their peers, delivering storms of irradiated hellfire to the non-believers. With every step, radiation seeps from their esoteric war gear, twisting the battlefield into a toxic nightmare.
Wait, if radiation leaks from them, does that mean it affects like their allies? Like if they were next to like a guardsman, would they get like radiation poisoning? Mechanicus got caught by the Inquisition for having a private Space Marine chapter. They had to declare it to the Order of Astartes and sign a treaty saying they would never do it again. No, they should just let them. They should just let them have it. They deserve a Space Marine chapter for themselves.
In their hour of need, the Mechanicus calls upon the most ancient of treaties, summoning their closest allies to their cause. the towering bipedal war engines of the Knight households, and the colossal god engines of the Legio Titanicus, each of which wielding world-quaking weaponry that can reduce entire cities to nothing more than molten slag with a single shot. Blessed is he who strides with giants into the crucible of war.
That's a fucking sick quote. That's a sick quote. Also, how Mark said, yeah, Mechanicus have no concern for their fleshy allies. Okay, that after just watching the salamander stuff, that's a nice juxtaposition.
So with that tastefully dramatic introduction out of the way, what exactly is the Adeptus Mechanicus, or the priesthood of Mars as they're often called? Well, first and foremost, they are the keepers of mankind's technological knowledge. They are the creators of humanity's machines, great and small, with which they treat with great reverence and honor through elaborate rituals and their collective faith in the machine god. They are a faction beholden to tradition that carefully guards every single scrap of ancient data recovered through their extensive and exhaustive exploratory efforts. You can think of the Mechanicus as a complex hierarchy of ruling tech priests, as well as their vast menagerie of followers. All within the Mechanicus have completely devoted themselves to what they refer to as the divine trinity. That is, the machine god, the omnissiah, and the motive force. The machine god being the divine being the cult worships that is said to be the keeper and bestower of all knowledge within the universe. The omnissiah being the emperor of mankind, who they see as the avatar of the machine god given physical form in order to walk the material.
Right, okay, so, okay. So the Mechanicus see the Emperor as the Omnissiah, not somebody else. Okay, that explains. That's one beautiful VTuber. Thank you, Ultra, I appreciate. Welcome in and welcome in.
Universe. And finally, the motive force, the energy that allows all creations, be they mechanical or organic, to experience life.
Ultra, thank you for the follow. Thank you. I appreciate that, Hans. Thank you.
They believe the motive force is embodied in its purest form through machine spirits, the invisible sentience that resides in each and every machine. The Trinity is seen as the embodiment of wisdom and the guiding force of the universe that empowers everything. Now, a quick side.
Wait, so the motive force is like God then? Question mark? Or like do the thing that makes everything happen in the world? I'm confused about that.
The term omnissiah is often used in the source material to refer to the emperor and the machine god interchangeably. Because the Mechanicus views knowledge as the supreme manifestation of divinity, all creatures and artifacts that contain knowledge are holy. The Emperor is seen as a supreme object of worship, considering just how much knowledge he contains and how much he's able to comprehend. This can get a little bit confusing on whether or not they're praying to the machine god or to the Emperor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, which one did they pray to them? Did you know that Big E convinced that he's their god? Did you know how Big E convinced them that he's their god? No, I don't know. Also, hi Chromit, how are you? The speed force of the universe, I guess? Probably red. The underside is robot Jesus, and the multi-force is robot Holy Spirit. Okay, as someone who's raised Catholic, I'm not religious no more, but I fully understand that.
Don't worship the Emperor as the one true god of humanity like the rest of the Imperium does. He is the avatar of the machine god. Thus, through the worship of him, they are worshiping the machine god directly. So when they
Okay, so he's not the machine god. He's like Jesus, essentially. He's the son of the machine god. He fixed their shit because these idiots didn't know how half of their stuff does. They still don't, though. That's the thing. They still don't know how half of it works.
Say things like praise the omnissiah, they may be referring specifically to the machine god, to the Emperor, or to the machine god through his proxy, which is the Emperor. The simplest way of thinking of it is that they worship both because both are one and the same. The Mechanicus views knowledge as an extension of the divine will of the machine god. They see technology and the sacred act of its creation as the most holy of concepts. Now conversely, any form of deviance from their creed, i.e. the disrespect of machine spirits through the dissection of the construct they inhabit, is Xenos technology and machines that can think for themselves, of which the Mechanicus refers to as abominable intelligence, are all.
Oh, okay, so that's what they mean by AI. Okay, abominable intelligence is AI, essentially. So they don't like ChatGPT. They fucking hate Grok. That's the only AIs I know. Hi Judy, how are you? How are you, sweet? Damn, but hidden with the sweet cheeks. That's like. Hello, welcome in look.
Viewed as the ultimate expression of tech heresy, a sin punishable by death. The vast majority of machinery utilized by mankind is absolutely ancient and can trace its origins all the way back to the time of the Dark Age of technology. It is through the cult Mechanicus' fanatical devotion to this ancient tech that humanity has been able to recover a portion of what it had lost so long ago. It has become their ultimate mission to recover as much of this lost tech as possible, and thus they have launched hundreds if not thousands of exploratory fleets to scour the stars for even the tiniest trace of lost data. If they so much as get the tiniest inkling on the whereabouts of something like an STC, they will drop everything they are doing immediately to pursue it.
Bro, that's dedication. That's dedication to knowledge.
Though they freely share a portion of their wisdom with their allies, sacred data is jealously guarded in order to maintain their power and influence in a carefully choreographed dance with the myriad different factions that make up the Imperium of mankind. And this makes a lot of sense, as if it wasn't for the Mechanicus'
Cage Fire, thanks for the follow. Welcome in. Oh, this is a big difference from how I introduced to them. I'm glad you're getting some real knowledge here.
Their mastery of industry, their incomprehensible trove of resources, and not to mention their unrivaled knowledge in every academic field and their legions of cybernetic soldiers and massive war engines, then the Imperium surely wouldn't survive into the next millennium. Thus, the Mechanicus is given perhaps more autonomy than any other faction.
Good. I really do think if they just let them go ham, they'd be able to like make so much cool shit. Like so much cool shit. It'd be weird and fucky, but it would work and it would make the Imperium probably maybe not better, but at least better in like the terms of combat. Like they wouldn't be getting their asses beat. Like if you ask the Mechanicus to make some armor for the guard that was better than the flag vest they get, or like some really, really good weaponry, and give them full like carte blanche, like nothing's off the table, go nuts, I reckon they could come up with some really fucking cool shit.
Don't settle for exerting their influence solely by integrating themselves throughout all of the other systems that hold the Imperium together. Far from it, they maintain the right to raise their own armies that zealously defend their forge worlds, and make sure the will of the Omnissiah is made manifest, while also launching various crusades of their own accord, in order to seek out the remnants of humanity's lost technology in the far-flung and unexplored sections of space. Although the Mechanicus is definitely part of the Imperium, it's better to think of them as an allied nation with their own goals and ambitions. The Mechanicus accomplishes its various objectives by utilizing legions of slave labor through the creation of unthinking cyborg thralls known as Servitors, ghastly abominations that were once living, breathing humans that, after having been lobotomized,
oh, they talk about servitor. Oh god, these things are horrid. Hi, just stopping in before heading to work. Hope you have a wonderful day. You too, Project Nightmare. Thank you for the nice words. I appreciate it, Han. Thank you. How a lot of lobotomies in a whole lot of lobotomies in here. This is the thing I don't like about them. I hate servitors.
Heavily augmented and pumped full of toxic materials designed to keep their physical bodies alive, are little more than a mindless drone.
This in chat here, this is peak male This is peak male form right here, chat. This is peak male form right here.
Cursed to carry out menial tasks for centuries or even millennia. Since all of humanity views AI as a dangerous and unforgivable sin, servitors are as close as they are willing to get to such constructs. Even though they act like an AI, at the end of the day, they are still powered by a preserved human brain.
Oh, so that's why they do it. Okay, I actually didn't know. I thought they just like lobotomizing people, like as punishment. Okay, that's why they
When it comes to the servitors that are specifically designed for combat, perhaps none are as iconic as the Cataphron Breachers. These guys are super dangerous at close range and can be called upon by a tech priest Dominus to protect them in battle. They're equipped with a vicious hydraulic pincer and deadly shoulder-mounted cannons. Some of the weapons they can be equipped with are that of the heavy arc rifles and the dreaded torsion cannon. This thing uses...
Oh no, they're gonna perform testicular torsion on you guys. Guys, run. Have you seen this boy? He's gonna perform testicular torsion on you, so get out there, run.
Multiple twisting fields of energy that, once they make contact with the target, will literally rip them apart in a horrifically gory display. What's really interesting and admittedly a little disturbing about these guys is that servitors that are grown in flesh farms are not able to be constructed into one. The tech priests have made many—
I'm sorry, flesh farms? What? I've legitimately never heard that term before. What the fuck is a flesh farm? Nowadays you call the repair guy when your dishwasher is acting up. In the 41st millennium, you call the repair guy when your dishwasher starts remembering the faces of his family. Oh god! That's so fucked up. Welcome in, Rokium. That's a nice toaster collection. Greetings, I'm here to talk lore and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Well, we're reacting to 40k lore today, so you're in luck there,
attempts in
devilish.
the past, but they're too docile, and the only human candidates that have proven to be successful are servitors that are made from particularly violent individuals with disturbingly murderous tendencies.
Oh!
The servitors that are grown in flesh farms don't have a soul, as they were never alive, but something of the murderer's soul lives on within these dreaded cyborgs.
That's horrific. That's fucking horrific. Super Clutch, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Fetches were that grown human flesh to make servitors up. I have no idea. Suddenly my cuddly, funny admit got very, very fucking horrific and scary. And I don't like it. I don't like. Please stop ruining Admech for me. I love Admech. Please don't make me hate them because that's horrific.
Fueling the carnage and destruction unleashed by their tech priest masters. The Cataphren can also come in the form of a destroyer, which gives up its ability to fight in melee by taking even more guns, becoming a dependable mobile heavy weapons platform.
Always choose more guns, chat. Always choose more guns.
Individuals can find themselves on the wrong end of a conveyor belt within a Servitor Manufactorum in a number of different ways. Some may have been death row criminals, allowed to be forgiven their sins by continuing to serve the Imperium indefinitely. Some may have been vat-grown in flesh farms, whereas others may have offended the wrong tech priest at the wrong time. I covered them and the process in which they were created pretty thoroughly in a video called 5 of the Darkest Crimes the Imperium is Guilty of.
Please don't tell me you want me to watch that. Please. I don't want to watch that. That sounds horrible. Also, hi Maple. At least this stream gives me the mood to play Battlefield Gothic. What do you expect? You're fine, Maple, don't worry. Grimdark Universe is just normal Monday.
So if you want the disturbing details, make sure to check that video out as well.
List?
It is through the extensive use of servitors within the massive manufactorums of their forge worlds that the Mechanicus is able to craft the futuristic technology of the Imperium. Whether that be the mass-produced flak armor and las weaponry of the Astra Militarum.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, you need the Mechanicus if you want anything in the Imperium to work. Absolutely love your model style. Thank you, I appreciate. We're Egyptian. Egyptian fucks got us.
Ships utilized by the fleets of the Imperial Navy, the bolters and power armor donned by the Adeptus Astartes and the Adeptus Sororitas, or even the towering god engines of the Collegia Titanica. But it's not just weapons and armor. They make just about everything within the Imperium, or at the very least, they produce a portion of something utilized in the production of vital resources. They make the black powder charges and mining equipment used on the many mining worlds. They themselves may not be farmers, but they produce all of the farming equipment that allow for the endless supply of food that the agri-worlds generate in order to feed the—
Wait, actually, that's a question. Did the Mechanicus eat? Did they need to eat, or did they just, like, survive off, like, I don't know, motor oil? Like, did they need to eat food? Because I don't think many of them have mouths left. I'm gonna guess stomachs, even. Some don't have humans in them. Flesh farms, that was basically what you saw in the first Matrix film. Yes, the battery farm. No, they lick batteries. I could believe that. I could believe them licking batteries. The first thing they got rid of was probably the digestive tract. Holy shit,
quintillions of human mouths throughout the galaxy. If it wasn't for the many forge worlds of the Mechanicus and their use of the servitors, then humanity would surely have perished long ago.
Hello?
The Imperium of Mankind is no stranger to doing things on a simply incomprehensible scale. And it makes a lot of sense, because it's estimated that the total human population by the time of the 42nd millennium numbers in the quintillions. Manufacturing on such—
Jesus Christ. Not fucking billions, fucking quintillions. What the fuck? That's a number I've not heard of before. The fuck is a quintillion? I'm gonna assume it's much, much bigger than millions or billions. Ah, crap, it's past 2 a.m. Enjoy your stream, Neffy. I need sleep. No, it's not like I haven't did 100
The scale
EPs.
comes in the form of the Forge World.
One step above trillion. That's a smaller number. Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Presumably they just have a constant stream of nutrients fed intravenously to keep them weak fleshy bits alive. Probably.
Absolute titans of industry that are covered in forges, factories, and manufactorums. Each individual Forge World has their own unique culture, fighting style, and method of production, such as the Forge World of Ryza, which is famed for its...
They're orange, so Ryzer's best. I know nothing about Ryzer other than the fact that they're orange and therefore they are best. That's called best Forge World. A millions equals 1, I guess. A billion, 2, trillion, 3, quadrillion, 4, quintillion, 5. It's a smaller number compared to the bullcrap that's in the universe.
Plasma-based technologies, or the Forge World of Styges 8, whose tech priests are known to have a particular obsession with Xenos technology, and due to their secretive nature, are viewed with a lot of mistrust by mankind.
I actually kind of like that. I like that they're obsessed with xenotech. Imagine Skitarii like fusing themselves with Necron-like technology. They'd be unstoppable. They'd be so oh, bro. Yes, please. Give me a Necron Skitarii hybrid,
and
please.
The other Forge Worlds. The most famous Forge World of all is without a doubt the Red Planet itself, the holy planet of Mars, and the birthplace of the Mechanicus.
The Forge Worlds are the main armories and centers of industry for the Imperium, entire planets who have been wholly dedicated to production. Factories and warehouses cover every livable inch of the terrain, and trillions of mile-high smokestacks vent toxic plumes of rancid smog high into the atmosphere. They are densely populated planets whose citizens are locked in an endless cycle of labor, children being trained from an early age to perform very specific jobs reminiscent of the ones held by their parents.
That's fucked, okay. Damn.
Every subsequent generation will focus their entire lives on this single job. They're seen less as people and more as a single cog in the great machine that is the Forge World itself. Every person has a role to fill, and so long as every cog continues to turn in a very precise way, then the great machine will continue to produce. The people of these worlds spending every waking moment crafting the weapons and armor utilized by the countless armies employed by the various factions that fight in the name of the God Emperor.
That's heretical and impossible. The only time necrodermis has been utilized by anything other than necrons is when Ferrus Manus got his arm coated in the stuff. Oh, okay.
Laborers often have their bodies surgically modified to increase their output. Now, whether or not it was their own choice to do so remains ultimately irrelevant to their
Let's be honest, none of it's going to be their fucking their choice. They don't get a choice in this.
That rule over these worlds and the teeming billions working below. It is a rigid society of which few ever escape. By all accounts, the fact that anyone is able to survive on such a planet at all is testament to the Mechanicus' vast knowledge, as just about everything conducive to the flourishing of organic life was sacrificed on the anvil of industry long ago. Most Forge Worlds are toxic and irradiated hellscapes, every inch of the planet's surface having been covered in
yeah, because they're all factories, right? So they've got like the nuclear waste, the runoff, the toxic fuels and everything. Yeah, of course it's a wasteland. Free will is a privilege that is hard to earn. In this universe, 100% wow, 100%.
Sprawling factories and manufactorums. There are even some Forge Worlds that have purposefully boiled away their own oceans in order to make room for more factories. The Adeptus Mechanicus.
That's so fucked up. Also, a name I can't read, Rokolana? Thank you for the follow, welcome in. Apologies for the name, I'm heavily dyslexic, nothing personnel.
Is fiercely protective of these Forge Worlds. Not only are there Skitarii forces and the Titan Legion stationed on them, but they're also not fond of visitors from outside of the Mechanicus. They view themselves as independent from the larger Imperium, which, according to the ancient treaties, is not entirely untrue. But the sad reality is...
Loverboy Justin, thank you for the follow, welcome in. It's the Industrial Revolution if it never stopped. That's such a good way of putting it, yeah. It's the Industrial Revolution if it just continued ad infinitum. Forge Worlds are just hives worlds where they churn out guns instead of people.
That the vast majority of these worlds are forever moments away from complete and utter starvation. If at any point a shipment from an agri-world failed to make a delivery or was delayed in the warp, then the entire population would starve. Thus, they are just as dependent on the Imperium as the Imperium is dependent on them. It may seem like a brutal existence, but the Forge Worlds are a vital part of the Imperium. Without their great factories, the armies of mankind would falter and cease to exist. Every planet would subsequently be cut off from one another, and they would fall prey to Xenos raiders and the worshippers of the Dark Gods.
So no matter what, you need the Admech. Even if you don't like them, even if you hate them, even if you think what they're doing is fucked up, you need them. In this universe, you fucking need the Admech so badly. 40K is 1941 Britain if the war ever ended. It's a symbiosis. What's your favorite chapter? Space Marine, Blood Ravens, and then Raptors. What about you, Justin?
Mars is by far the most famous of the Forge Worlds, as it is where the Mechanicus originated. It is a world that gave over to holy industry on an incomprehensible scale long ago. It is covered in dirt and chem-stained metropolises that span entire tectonic plates. It is covered in crackling capacitor banks the size of entire cities that churn the polluted atmosphere in an attempt to create localized storms. Pollutants billow from mile-high stacks of irradiated waste covered in technographs and emitters that blare binary canicles in praise of the machine god. Now, even though the Imperium is filled with a lot of different Forge Worlds, each and every one of them owes their fealty to Mars. Thus, it is only the Fabricator General of the Red Planet that is given a seat amongst the High Lords of Terra. And
wait, is the Fabricator General, isn't that like the leader, like the leader of the Forge World, like the whole thing, right? Salamanders. Mine is Minotaurs and Raptors. Raptors based. Also Salamanders. They're like Dark Angels to me. I like them if they. The only issue I have is that they're green. If they weren't green, I would have zero issues with them. I might have even made a Dark Angels army, but sadly.
Speaks with the authority of all of the Forge Worlds. All of the tech priests are collectively known as the Priesthood of Mars, which is indicative of the planet's central role within their religion and political landscape. They view the Red Planet as the single holiest place in the entire galaxy, and billions of the cult's members will make pilgrimages here each and every year. I actually went pretty in-depth into the Mechanicus' early history in the Titan video that I did and in my timeline video. So,
oh, wait, he's got a timeline video? Ooh. Ooh, I kind of want to watch a timeline video. Obviously not now. Maybe next one, unless you want me to watch the Warcrown one he was talking about before. But a timeline might be good. I'm kind of interested in timeline. I love the Titans. Titans are cool, yeah. Fabricator General is the ruler of the entire Mechanicus. Oh, I have to put Thousand Suns as my favorite chapter. We can't be friends, right? I'm sorry.
In order to not be treading over ground I've recently covered, I'm going to briefly summarize it here, and you can check those videos out if you want to know more. During mankind's early history, Mars would be the first planet to be colonized after Earth. And over thousands of years, the Red World would end up being terraformed to the point where it was nearly indistinguishable from its sister planet, the major exception to that being its iconic red sands. It eventually reached the point where it was covered in its own forests, oceans, and was able to exist mostly on its own. Yet it was still reliant on certain shipments coming from Earth. At the dawn of the Age of Strife, when massive warp storms would flood the galaxy due to the gestating chaos god Slanesh, Mars and Earth would end up getting cut off from one another. Without the steady supply of resources coming from Earth, Mars would begin to fall apart and slowly reverted back into its previous barren state.
Oh wait, isn't this because like they became like techno barbarians or something, and then the Emperor came back and was like, no, stop this now. And they're like, okay, we believe you, we worship you. Horny God, not good. Favorite Renegade chapter is Night Lords. A lot of people like Night Lords. A lot of the comments I got were about Night Lords, and people want me to react to Night Lord stuff. We will get there. We will get to Night Lords. They're on the list. But my favorite Renegade is now the Red Corsairs and Iron Warriors, because they're just badass. Yeah, I'm holding Nephew's hand.
This was a period of great civil unrest for the Red Planet that saw many civil wars amongst its fledgling factions. This was the time when the cult Mechanicus was born, and that the remaining systems that supported life on the planet were worshipped. And it's not difficult.
Night Lord lovers are not okay. I don't think they are either. After hearing, I haven't like watched anything about them, but from what I've heard in the comments, they're fucking awful, but people love them still. So like, I'm not shitting on Night Lords, I'm just saying they're all psychopaths and war criminals.
To understand where the idea came from. Without these machines, the humans that called this world home surely would have faced a lonely and drawn-out demise. It wouldn't be until thousands of years later, when Slaanesh was finally born and ripped their way into our galaxy in a violent explosion that not only created the Eye of Terror, but subsequently eradicated the Eldar Empire. Now, this obviously wasn't great for the Eldar, but for humanity, it represented a glorious opportunity, as after the Chaos God had been created, all of the warp storms that had been being generated by them suddenly disappeared. What would follow was a period known as the Unification Wars, wherein the Emperor...
Wait, so if it wasn't for the Eldar being horny, then the Imperium would still be like trapped on their like techno-barbarian worlds and shit, right? Because of the warp storms? Am I reading that correctly? Yeah? Oh my god. So because of horniness and degenerate behavior, the Imperium so fucking survived and made it. Eldar are fucked up. The Eldar are fucked up everything. Like literally true. I said that before. In a video about how the Necrons were the Eldar's fault and the Eldar are to blame for everything, and people got very pissy. I'm sure in the comments of this, people will be feeling very pissy.
New follower.
Until we get to the Eldar and I learn more about them, at the moment it does seem like a lot of the issues stem from the Eldar. Also, Dragon Knight, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Space elves are the reason for everything. You're not wrong.
Where mankind revealed himself, led his armies against the various warring factions of Earth, subsequently defeated them and united all of humanity under one banner. Under the Emperor's rule, he banned religious worship by humanity.
Just saying, let's look at that jawline. Look at that fucking strong jawline. The Necrons are the reason for everything bad. No, it's the Eldar. But orcs are the best. I thought you may like Thousand Suns chapter because you have Egyptian color. Space Marine 2 made me hate them because they're just bullet sponges and I fucking hated fighting them in Space Marine 2, so I don't like them for that reason alone, Justin. No, Slaanesh gestation caused the storms. Her birth blew them apart. Yeah, but they only happened because of the Eldar, right? Devilish? If they just asked the old ones to cure the space cancer instead of making immortal at gunpoint, the galaxy would be better. Okay. Alright, okay. I'll give you that one. Lesbian, I'll give you that one. Yeah, if the space gods, old ones, weren't dickheads and said, yes, we'll cure you of your plague, Necron, on Necron tier, then I guess the galaxy would be a different place nowadays.
As he saw belief in false deities.
Okay, sorry to pause again. Magnus did nothing wrong. I don't get this. I don't get this fucking meme. When we get to Magnus, whenever we fucking get to Magnus, I'll finally understand, but I don't fucking get it yet.
As a hindrance that got in the way of scientific advancement. He would end up traveling to Mars, where the Treaty of Olympus was signed, and the two planets were reunited once again. Now, the cult of machine worship had come to completely dominate Martian society, and the Emperor kinda sorta made a one-time exception for them. Now, why he did this isn't made entirely clear, but it may have something to do with the coming of the Omnissiah, the avatar.
Well, didn't he do it because he knew, like, he had to frickin' make the Mechanicus on his side because he needed tech and shit and weapons? And he's like, oh, these guys, no tech and weapons, I better be friends with them. Also, Dragon Knight, thanks for the follow, welcome in. Hi, been watching on YouTube. Also, the Eldar degenerate nature was building the warp storms that birthed Slaanesh. Yeah, exactly.
Of the machine god that had been foretold in ancient prophecy since the early beginnings of the cult Mechanicus. Now, vast majority of them believe that the Emperor was the Omnissiah, and he very well may have been the avatar of the machine god like the Mechanicus believes. But it's also probable that he viewed Mars as an incredibly powerful entity, one that would either make for a potent ally or a terrifying enemy. And considering that this was the beginning of his crusade to reunite all of the lost human worlds, it's possible he was just placating them in order to avoid an apocalyptic civil war.
Exactly, because the Mechanicus would have fucked shit up. And I know a lot of Imperium fans are going to be very salty I said that, but I'm a Mechanicus girl. That's the theory, but I don't think it was ever put into words exactly. The Necrons could just move planets. Maybe wrong. I'm not saying they had spaceflight at that point.
This one's kind of left up to your own interpretation. As the Emperor's Crusade got fully underway and more planets ended up reunited with Earth and Mars, Mars would be fully integrated into the burgeoning Imperium. However, the Mechanicum was not spared the galaxy-shattering civil war known as the Horus Heresy, where one of the Emperor's Primarch sons, Horus, as well as 8 of the other Primarchs and their Space Marine legions, turned against the Imperium and sought to overthrow the Emperor. Half of Mars would end up siding with the War Master, while the other half remained loyal to the Emperor. This gave way to what is referred to as the Great Martian Schism. The planet would be
Great Schism, Halo reference, another Halo reference in my Warhammer. Let's go. Dark Mechanicus, my beloved. Anita, after dinner, have fun afterwards. Byron, have fun at dinner. Yeah, you know what? Have fun at dinner. This is where Magnus did nothing wrong.
Fully engulfed in civil war, and the traitors would end up victorious. When the surviving loyalists on Mars ended up fleeing to Earth, it was decreed that they change their name from the Mechanicum to the Mechanicus. This was to differentiate themselves.
Mechanicum. Oscar, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. How are you?
From their traitorous brethren. After the Horus Heresy ended and the War Master was ultimately defeated, the Mechanicus and their loyalist allies would take back the Red Planet. The priesthood of Mars would then set about on a zealous crusade of extermination to purge all traitorous elements from their forge worlds. They did this with the fanaticism born of the truly devout. And a quick side note, although the Imperial Aquila has undergone many iterations over the years, after the Horus Heresy, its symbolism came to take on a different meaning for the citizens of the Imperium.
Wait, let me guess. It's got 2 heads, one to represent the Imperium and one to represent the Mechanicus? Question mark? That would be my best guess. Dragonlight, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. AK, if you want organic toasters with plasma guns, they're gonna make it. Mechanicum. I call them tech support. That's the video version. That's a short version. Obviously, there's like a dozen books.
One head now represented Terra, while the other one represented Mars.
Okay, I was close. I was fucking close.
And the entirety of the Aquila represented their holy unity.
The worship of machines is fundamental to the identity of the Mechanicus. They don't call them the tech priests of Mars for nothing. Now, it's their belief that organic forms are weak, as they are susceptible to age and disease. And
exactly. Flesh is weak, chat. We should embrace being cyborgs.
Eventually, all of them will rot and decay, whereas the machine is eternal. But what exactly does that entail? How does the faith work, and what are the tenets? Is there any truth to their wacky beliefs, or is it just superstition run rampant?
To most of those who...
How dare you question them? How dare? Of course it makes sense. We're just too stupid to realize, okay? Doom is also
live within
eternal.
The Imperium, technology is barely understood. And whether these people take the form of everyday laborers just trying to get by day in the slums of a hive city, or esteemed scholars, military heroes, or even the pilots of the multi-kilometer-long void crafts, most believe at least somewhat in the existence of machine spirits that empower all of the manufactured machines that humanity has come to rely upon. This is especially true of the members of the cult, who make sacred offerings and conduct extravagant rituals of activation in order to keep the machine spirits appeased. This often takes the form of anointing said machine with sanctified oils, sacred unguents, and praying to them in binaric cant. It is their belief that a machine only works because that is the will of the machine spirit within it. A machine spirit that is happy and has been appeased through ritual and shown respect will continue to work even in hazardous conditions. However, a machine spirit that has been disrespected and not shown the proper offerings will either fail to work in its entirety or shut down at the most inopportune moment.
Wait, chat, is that why OBS fucking shut down on me like an hour ago? Is that why OBS fucking decided to crash and just fail? I think that's why, chat. I think I didn't give it offerings this morning. That might be why. No, the machine spirit in OBS is very salty right now. Does it sound like how the orc stuff works? You were providing sufficient sacrifices and prayers to OBS, Neffy? Yeah, okay. I get it now. I get why it fucking crashed earlier, that's why. Yeah, you didn't pray to be honest, Taya. My bad, guys, my bad.
Although originally only held by the cult, these beliefs have trickled their way throughout all of humanity. And nowadays it's not uncommon for a guardsman experiencing a gun jam to blame the machine spirit that dwells within their firearm. The more powerful the machine, the more powerful the spirit within it. For example, the plasma reactors of ships and the towering war engines known as Titans are said to have particularly dangerous machine spirits. Now I know this seems like superstition run rampant, but
it's actually real and it's factual, and anyone that says otherwise is a heretic, a space heretic. The machine spirit of my Xbox still works, so I'll hold hammer
is
to
a
it.
lot of evidence to support these notions. Many captains of void-bearing vessels claim that their ships have personalities, or have been miraculously able to navigate themselves and their crew out of violent warp storms of their own accord.
Oh shit!
Even after their navigators have failed. There are documented instances of Space Marine land raiders continuing to roll forward across the battlefield and fight on even after their entire crew has been killed. There are even tales of particularly bloodthirsty Titans who, despite the commands of their pilots, refuse to fall back and continue to push deeper into enemy territory. There are rumors out there that...
Also, Guri, don't put a link because you'll get bumped by the bot, and I don't know if any mods are here to permit you. So if you want, we do have a Discord. You can put it in one of the channels in there if you want, honey. Yeah, just didn't want you to get bumped, that's all.
Machine spirits are nothing more than misunderstood AI, and that the information that proves this to be the case is a closely guarded secret, known only by a handful of the Mechanicus' most powerful individuals. Whether or not this is truly the case, though, remains one of 40K's greatest mysteries. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I don't want this one to ever be solved. I like this particular mystery. At first glance...
You know what? That's actually fair. Some secrets are better left not discovered. Like, I think the Foreigners were way cooler when we knew very little about them. I'm gonna be real. In Halo, the Foreigners were like my favorite thing. I still like them, and I like that there's a part of me that likes that we're exploring them and we're getting to know them better, but there's also a part of me that wishes we didn't, and we still kept them very mysterious and ancient. So, yeah. It's good to have some mysteries. Yeah, exactly. Titan machine spirits are fucking scary, extremely powerful, and the princess has to overpower it constantly.
The idea that this faction keeps their machines running by quite literally praying to them is pretty strange. It's as if the Adeptus Mechanicus has completely forgotten how these ancient machines work, and rather than understanding that a machine comes to life simply by flipping the on-off switch, for example, they instead induct these elaborate hour-long rituals that at one point in time includes the flipping of said holy switch. They do not...
You're joking, right? They just... a ritual is to turn it off and on again. Are you shitting me? Also, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. How are you?
Know that it was this one specific act that produced the desired results. Only that something within the ritual was pleasing to the machine spirit, who subsequently submitted to their will. There is a lot of truth to this being just superstition, but to think...
No, it's real. It's not superstition. It's fucking real. Very good, thanks. I'm glad you're very good, hon. I'm glad
you're good. The Mechanicus as simply a pack of techno-shamans who have no idea what they're actually doing is pretty inaccurate. By and large, the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus are incredibly intelligent and have hoarded massive amounts of data and technological lore within towering data stacks deep within the industrial sprawls of their fortified forge worlds. The major thing to bear in mind is that the blueprints, schematics, and ancient manuals that are used to upkeep and replicate these machines have crossed the line from a simple tool into the realm of Holy Scripture. It's quite literally the equivalent of viewing your car's owner's manual as a sacred document.
I thought it was, though. I thought like the manual for your car was like scripture. I thought it was like the Bible, like you meant to like pray to it, you meant to read it page to page and learn lessons from it. Is that not true, chat? Have I gone too far here? Have I Have I read too much into this?
The faith of the cult Mechanicus is one founded in dogma and deeply rooted in traditions, the meaning of many of their rites, ceremonies, and sacrifices having been lost long ago, yet their practice endures. It's the difference between knowing and understanding, intelligence and wisdom. They know how a machine works if they have the corresponding STC utilized in its creation. Rod A slots into section B, which turns on module X. They understand that. They get the process that enables a machine to work, but they lack the insight into why each individual step in the process created a reaction. Quick story time.
Right, okay, so they know how to reboot things, but they don't know the inner workings of it and how it all functions together. So if they took it apart, they wouldn't know how to put it back together again. Okay, that explains a lot. Nephi has become one of the Mechanicus, so she'll start to forsake the weakness of flesh and strength of steel. Oh, I'm all insane. I would love to like fucking replace parts of my body if I had like, you know, mechanical parts that actually worked. If I could get a mechanical pancreas, I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat. 100%. Yes, please give me an artificial pancreas, please. You know, and people do it all the time. People have pacemakers. People have cochlear implants and hearing aids and stuff like that. We do it all the time. It's just a different level. Like, for real, I genuinely believe that like cybernetic things are gonna be like maybe not common, but they're gonna be the solution to a lot of medical issues. In people, you know, later down, not now, but later down the line, we're already heading down that route of having artificial parts in our body that do things that are where the other part, the flesh part is broken down. Steel hips, coated with reinforced silicon. Exactly, yeah, hip replacement, stuff like that. We're already doing it, just not to this scale. I'm not saying we're gonna look like tech priests with wires coming out of our mouths and replacing our digestive tract. But we're gonna have more and more artificial parts in us that help us keep going.
Read about this, it reminds me of my high school chemistry classes, of which, if I'm being honest, I didn't do very well in. The assignments I did manage to pass involved doing a bunch of pouring and mixing of different ingredients. I was able to get the desired results, but I have no idea why each and every specific chemical reaction took place. But hey, at the end of the day, a C was passing. It's not a perfect analogy, but it's pretty similar to how the Mechanicus views technology. Because knowledge is seen as sacred, deviation from the known text in the
Nah, she's gonna look like a Necron if she goes mechanical. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to get artwork of myself as like a Necron overlord. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to do that because I think that'd be fucking cool, and I love Necrons too.
Form of experimentation or the altering of a machine is tantamount to heresy. This isn't to say that things like reverse engineering or upgrading existing components have never occurred, as they certainly have. This kind of stuff just happens remarkably slowly. The members of the cult look at people that would do something like this as wantonly spitting upon the Mechanicus' sacred documents. Needless to say, if they're not immediately executed, they're often seen as pariahs. This ignorance, however, is rooted in a very real and understandable fear, as it was the rampant experimentation and delving into the unknown that led to the complete collapse of human society at the end of the dark age of technology, when the thinking machines that humanity of the time had come to rely upon rose up against them.
Oh, so that's why they fucking hate AI. Okay, that makes a lot of sense now. I get it now. I understand. They made AI and it rose up, and now they're like scared of AI, so they that's why they make servitors. Okay, it's making sense now. Okay, now for ages I didn't know why they hated AI. I just know they did. I thought it was like, you know, sacrilegious or something, but no, it's just because they're scared of it happening again, which makes total sense. I'm gonna be real. The Mechanicus don't understand why it works, but they understand what functional devices look like. As long as it looks right, it works. That's good enough for them. They had their term, it was Skynet took over. Yeah, basically.
Nearly condemned all of mankind to extinction. This was a very real event that the Mechanicus takes the remembrance of very seriously. Fear of innovation and abominable intelligence is a much more real and immediate danger to them than the fear of ignorance and stagnation. Thus, they ward themselves in the bulwark of tradition, and instead of seeking advancement by looking forward, they look backwards. The Mechanicus views the acquisition...
The Neffy Whiffy over here, he's hating on that AI, calling it sacrilegious, and worried about Terminator Judgment Day, and what's a not?
That scared me. Fuck you, Uncle Riku. Fuck you. That actually made me jump. Holy shit. Oh. The AI fought a war across half the galaxy, and the Imperium was actually losing badly. That's why everybody is terrified of AI. Yeah.
...of lost technology, and thus its integration into their own systems as a mission of the highest priority. Every new STC or piece of ancient archaeotech that is recovered is cause for overwhelming celebration. It's perhaps one of 40K's deepest ironies that the ancient designs that they venerate are the very same ones that were constructed during the Dark Age of technology and were most likely made with the assistance of the abominable intelligence that...
Yeah, so they're working with AI, or they're happy to use stuff that's been like tainted by AI as long as it doesn't have an AI?
They are so afraid of. These beliefs are not wholly unique to the Mechanicus, as large swaths of Imperial citizens also view tech heresy in the same light as witchcraft, a grievous sin not to be tolerated. Perhaps more disturbing to them than the idea of innovation is that of Xenos technology, as anything crafted by the alien is shunned, as the damage it could inflict in the wrong hands is unquantifiable. Humanity is the only species that has been able to craft machines directly in reference to the machine god. Any machine created by an alien is blasphemous, a perversion of the true nature of the machine spirit. Despite their worshipping of machines and their great reverence for the mechanical inventions of ancient humanity, you might be surprised to learn that the cult has little desire to return to the dark age of technology. Instead, they yearn for a time in the future when mankind and machine have become perfectly blended into a single entity.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna say, I thought they want to get like all their technology back, right? Neffy, what is this AI swap? AI starts the Matrix protocol, Neffy. This motherfucking cranker. This is how you usually reacting. Tau is bad. No, Tau is good. Tau is good, wow. I will defend Tau. They're good.
A time in which all will be created, precisely in the machine god's image. They look at other factions that would work to different ends as foolish and naive, and will oppose any that deny the will of the Omnissiah, or blaspheme against the machine god through the act of unlicensed experimentation, discovery, or invention. The religion the Adeptus Mechanicus follows is known as the Cult Mechanicus, a religion that rejects the Imperial Creed and is instead founded in 16 core tenets, revered...
Please tell me the 16 core tenets. I need to know. I need to be a better Cult Mechanicus member. I need to know. No, the Space Elves are more weeb compared to the Tau is more science fiction.
As the universal laws. These tenets give us a greater insight into the mind of a tech priest and their understanding of their place in the universe. The universal laws dictate the goals and behavior of every follower of the Omnissiah, and in essence dictate their thought process by helping them understand the nature of life and its relevance to the machine god, the true nature of which is a mystery that the Mechanicus continues to pursue in what it refers to as the quest for knowledge, a crusade that has continued for over 10,000 years. Through the tenets of their faith, the Mechanicus believes that the measurement of one's worth is quantifiable in the amount of knowledge they have gained over their lifetime, that their body of flesh is merely a worthless construct with which to house sacred knowledge. When it comes to the universal laws themselves, admittedly, we don't actually know all of them.
I wanted to know them. I wanted to know them so I could be a better Cult Mechanicus member. I want to praise the Omnissiah. Bro, let me praise my space fucking robot dads. Purge the space commies? No, I will protect the Tau.
Weird. You'd think that they would be readily available considering how important they are.
Yeah.
But alas, in order to gain a bit of insight into them, we have to piece together several different obscure sources, including the Deathwatch Core Rulebook, a PDF titled Mechanicus Exploratory Warbands that was released by Specialist Games for the now defunct system known as Inquisitor, and the Lathe World Supplement for the Dark Heresy RPG system. The fourth universal law. Intellect is the understanding of knowledge. The fourth law is most commonly interpreted as stating that the ability to comprehend and utilize knowledge is the basis for...
Oh, fuck. The fourth tenet, I'm already fucked. I do not have knowledge. and I struggle to comprehend things. Oh no, I'm already fucked. Chat. Oh no, it's over.
For the measurement of intellect, it is entirely possible for any sentience to realize the value of knowledge, or stimulus, as some members of the cult Mechanicus might refer to it, while only possessing simplistic levels of it. It's also possible for an archive or holomat to contain vast quantities of knowledge and the understanding thereof, without apprehending the value of that knowledge. Neither of these two examples would possess true intellect in the eyes of a tech priest. The fifth universe.
I'm not gonna lie, chat. That went in one ear and out the other, so I think I'm pretty cocked when it comes to understanding the terms. Yeah, but these were written by Fantasy Flight Games, so that was canon as the fan fiction. Nephews already failed learning Mechanicus tenants. Protect them. You don't even know we're fish people. Shush. Okay, shush.
Law. Sentience is the basest form of intellect. Tech priests often view sentience as a commonly held trait, and they see it as only the first tier of intellect, the lowest rung on the ladder of understanding. Superior intellect is generally agreed to be developed through the acquisition and understanding of knowledge. The sixth universal law. Understanding is the true path to comprehension. The concept of comprehension holds special significance for tech priests. It is often viewed as a state of transcendence, a level of intellect that encompasses all knowledge. The seventh universal law. Comprehension is the key to all things. Debate rages about whether the key to all things is a literal or figurative expression, and many believe the seventh law means that comprehension of the forces of the universe brings with it the keys to reality, the ability to implement any change or creation desired.
Sorry guys, I'm back. I'll go with ballistic for a second. I have to go and check on something. I'm back. Sorry. We're back. Okay, sorry. Okay, we're back, let's go.
The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all. The eighth law enshrines the Omnissiah as the supreme being, the entity able to comprehend all knowledge in the universe. The universal truths 9 through 11 are currently unknown, so we'll jump in on the 12th. The 12th universal law. The soulless sentience is the enemy of all. Now, this is obviously in relation to abominable intelligence. And considering just how afraid they are of it, it would make sense that it's one of their universal laws.
True. Also, thank you for the welcome back, and fuck you, Maple and Pride specifically.
13 and 14 are currently unknown as well, so we're jumping in on the 15th. Flesh is fallible, but ritual honors the machine spirit. Organic components, i.e. people, are weak, forgetful, and ultimately expendable for the greater glories of the machine.
Okay, I don't agree with that last part. They're not expendable, but flesh is weak, and we should make it not weak. Why? Because just because I said so. Just because.
God. The fallibilities of flesh can be assuaged through the correctly prescribed rituals to enable the enlightened to interact with the machine spirit. To so dishonor a machine spirit by not undertaking the correct rituals to honor it is a grave crime, and considered extremely risky with certain spirits. For example, failing to undertake maintenance rituals on a plasma reactor is sure to end badly. The 16th universal law. To break with ritual is to break with faith. Tech priests rely on ritual over understanding. Every screw turn and button press is precisely documented for every mechanism they build or use. Many tech priests believe that the slightest deviation is an invitation for disaster, and unleashing uncontrolled—
Wait, so they're fucking super anal too? Like, it has to be done this exact way, otherwise you'll kill us all. The Alien Warriors would be proud of you. Dazed. So be sure to expect to see Nephi Mechanicus model after your upcoming models. Flesh is weak, Nephi. Listen, I doubt I could get a tech priest like VTuber model, although that would be fucking sick. That'd be so fucking sick, but I don't know if I could do that. Maybe artwork. We could probably get some artwork of tech priest Ness, but model? I don't know yet. I'd have to look.
Forces. Now, I'll fully admit that this may just be me getting a little bit meta and really poking around inside of outdated rulebooks to try to get a better understanding of a very niche topic. But I think it's worth mentioning that in the Deathwatch RPG core rulebook, it mentions that the knowledge of the existence of the universal laws requires a successful skill check that is considered an advanced investigation. And in this system, you don't play as the common citizenry of the Imperium.
Please tell me to play as a tech priest, and if so, bring it back right now. Very Martian of her. It kind of feels like a holy hand grenade of Antioch. one must commit to 3, and the number 3 is as far as they count. 2 is too few, and 4 is right
You're
out.
a Space Marine, a member of the Death Watch. It further goes on to elaborate that advanced skill checks require a very specific training or education that common individuals are not even able to attempt. To me, it indicates that the core tenets of the Mechanicus' faith are intentionally left vague by design. And it's no wonder that they have never been fully established, as even in universe, most people outside of their order don't know they exist. Now, I'm gonna make a mention—
Wait, so does that mean that the tech priests don't know their own tenets? So it's just like the core people and like the leaders know, but the rest of them don't know? How does that work? Also, no, I'm gonna be real, I don't get that. Nephew called Death Watch. Did you expect to play it as anything besides the Death Watch members? Okay, I may have been stupid, alright, leave me alone, shut the fuck up. Just not important to them. Oh, okay,
in here real quick that if you go to the Lexiconum Wiki or the Fandom Wiki, it does have the other universal truths listed. However, they don't provide a source for any of these, so as far as I'm aware, these are not canon. I spent a good 24 hours trying to track down the source of these myself and came up empty-handed. So if anybody can prove that these are the other universal truths, let me know in the comment section below, because I'd love to read that original source.
Okay.
The quest to regain lost knowledge and recover the archaeotech of humanity's past is the absolute top priority for the Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, in order to accomplish this objective, they launch hundreds, if not thousands, of what are known as exploratory fleets. Armadas of pioneers that are sent into the dark places between stars to further the never-ending acquisition of raw data. The quest for knowledge can take them to some pretty dangerous places, thus they are fully prepared to bring about the Omnissiah's wrath to any that would stand between them and their goals.
It is the ultimate goal of the cult Mechanicus to understand the nature of the machine god. It is in this most holy of quests that the tech priests and their legions of cyborg servants launch holy fleets to explore the frontiers of the Imperium. Though at first glance, these seem to be religious expeditions, the reality is that they take with them an amalgamation of military might that possesses enough firepower to destroy entire armies. The quest for knowledge is an all-consuming endeavor to procure data, resources, and artifacts that they believe are rightfully owed to the machine god. These crusades normally take the form of a Forge Worlds exploratory fleet, each serving as a unique armada of different vessels that are dispatched to deafening hails of binary hymns. They must be fully prepared to face the horrors of the galaxy, as the alien, the witch, and the heretic will do everything in their power.
So, okay, sorry, I was soaking that up. Sorry about not saying anything. So, would I be correct in saying the Space Marines crusade for, to kill Xenos and glory and shit, and the Mechanicus solely do it to get knowledge and find about STCs and shit? It's not to we're being attacked or anything. It's like, no, we're out here to get knowledge, motherfucker. Most important universal law is that we all know, or no. The Dark Heresy has, as you mentioned earlier, an entire splat book dedicated to the Mechanicus stuff.
To maintain control of the lost archaeotech, and the Mechanicus is fully prepared to reclaim that which is theirs by birthright through great and spectacular violence. Each fleet is armed with its own cohorts of Skitarii and countless devoted members of the priesthood. They will often be aided in their quest by their allies within the Knight households or from other Imperial forces. The goals of these ventures can vary from—
Wait, they have Knights on these things? Imperial Knights are inside Mechanicus ships? Did you call them down like Titanfall?
Fleet to fleet, but often take the form of uncovering lost fragments of human technology, locating fresh resources, or cataloging emergent Xeno species. They delve into the unknown reaches of undocumented—
Okay, because I thought the Imperial Knights were stuck to wherever their home worlds were. Wherever that knight was built, it can't go anywhere else other than that planet. I didn't realize they could fucking transport these things too. They could bring an entire night house with them. That's sick. That's fucking cool. They're literally calling down Titans. They're going stand by for Titanfall. Here's your Titanfalling them. Some of Titans. To transport Imperial Knights or Titan, you 100% required mechanical. Oh, 100%. The Mechanicus make their own knights. Yeah, but I thought they were like stuck on worlds where like wherever they build them. Say like if they build a knight on one world, that knight is stuck there forever. Unless they deassemble it and then reassemble it somewhere else, maybe. I didn't know they could transport them.
Base, venturing to the far-flung fringes of the Astronomicon's light. To the cult, taking off on such a crusade is a prestigious honor. They are viewed as intrepid pioneers, selfless servants of the machine god that accept great risk in order to fulfill his will. Because the fleets will be on their own for extremely long periods of time, and they need to be entirely self-sufficient. Whether that take the form of plundering mineral worlds that they come into contact with, or in some extreme cases, cannibalizing vulnerable ships while pressing their crews into indentured servitude. Each fleet is equipped with a wide swath of different tech priests of varying specializations and philosophical approaches, having a great many minds working towards the singular task of shifting through rumors, sightings, and hearsay within a system for any trace of lost technology allows them to come up with the most efficient solutions possible. When they encounter a world, their ships will launch data tethers that invasively probe into the planet. This is not a procedure that the citizens of these planets take kindly.
Data tethers. I've not heard that word either. They are the protectors of the world. Many knights stay on the world, but others will crusade around their subsector and protect or serve on several worlds. Oh, okay.
And has led to many standoffs with the Mechanicus, especially if they encounter even the faintest whiff of what they're looking for, as they will deploy in mass immediately and begin their excavation attempts. Fragments of STCs are among the most highly prized shards of archaeotech, as they are packed with condensed technical information from the ancient times when the machine gods chosen were able to work miracles that were almost indistinguishable from sorcery.
Okay, so I'm going to go on and say, if the Mechanicus suspect, there's a hint of an STC on like a planet, they will stop at nothing to get it, right? They will just go all balls to the wall. It's ours and give it us me, right? Like they would just do anything in their power. Like an exterminatus even.
Many exploratory fleets are given an open-ended mandate to operate as they see fit, and are given no specific target other than to plumb the depths of the void and find anything of value. As knowledge is the most priceless commodity in existence, there are no lengths that the Mechanicus is not willing to go to protect all of their secrets, even if it means committing unforgivable crimes. And to really highlight just how far they're willing to go, I want to talk about their role in the novel Storm of Iron. Now, this segment is going to...
Iron Warriors? Oh my god, Iron Warriors? I see the Hazard Stripes. I see Iron Warriors. Oh my beloved, let's go. There's a story where a man found a blueprint that was 1,000-year-old for a knife that was slightly sharper than the one they used. And they gave him an entire planet to rule. That is crazy. If the Mechanicus ever found an intact STC, they would jizz their pants and deploy absolutely everything they possibly could to recover it, or exterminate the night to the chaos allowing dark mechanic. Oh, that was so extra.
Contains some pretty big spoilers for the book, so if you don't want to hear them,
that's fine.
Go ahead and jump to the timestamp I've put on screen.
No, that's fine.
I'm not going to spoil all of the mysteries of this book, but just one big one in particular. Okay, so the story is set on the desert world of Hydra Cordatus. There isn't a lot here other than a single spaceport in a large citadel fortress known as Tor Christo.
I guess Mechanicus only operate in ultimatums. I guess so, Hunter. I guess so. Spoilers? Yeah, this is your warning, guys. This is your warning. We will warning, spoiler time. You're getting spoilers.
This fortress would end up coming under siege by the Iron Warriors Traitor Legion. We, as the audience, are told that the atmosphere of this world is incredibly toxic. And in order to combat the murderous air, every single guardsman here has to continuously take these detox pills that the Mechanicus has provided for them. They're not able to prevent all of the atmosphere's terrible effects, but they will keep them alive. One of the main characters of the story, Guardsman Hawk, ends up separated from his platoon and goes on an away mission of sabotage to fight the Iron Warriors on his own terms. He doesn't have a lot of supplies and has a limited amount of rations and water. However, it is enough to last him for a good chunk of time. The more immediate danger, however, is that he only has a few detox pills left. He figures he's going to fight as long and hard as he can, and when the planet's atmosphere finally takes him, he will know that he went down fighting. But
What a fucking Chad. What a fucking Chad. Hey, Niffy, how are you? I'm good, Bartek. How are you?
Here's the thing. He runs out of these pills in only a couple of days, but he's on his own for weeks. Within 24 hours after he takes his last pill, he suddenly starts to feel better than he has in years. The plague of constant headaches that he had been afflicted with ever since he stepped foot on this godforsaken planet have finally disappeared. He feels younger and stronger, more alive with every passing minute. Now, much later in the story, the Iron Warrior's siege of the fortress is fully underway. Both
But what? The atmosphere.
sides have taken enormous losses, but the Iron Warriors definitely have the upper hand. By the Emperor's divine grace, the Imperial Fist Space Marine chapter
Hey, another base Space Marine chapter. Let's
come to the planet's aid, and during one of the meetings of all of the commanding officers, including Lieutenant Colonel Leonid of the Jurin 383rd Dragoons Regiment that has been stationed here, the Imperial Fist, known as Eshra, asks what those pills are that he's seen his men taking. Leonid gestures at the air around them and tells him that it's poisonous, that the transhuman physiology of the Space Marines is able to filter out the toxins almost immediately, but us human fighters, we're not so lucky. If it wasn't for all those pills, they would all be dead in about a week. The Space Marine looks incredibly confused, and he tells him that he detects no toxic elements in the atmosphere.
Also, hi, Path, how are you?
It stinks and leaves a pretty bad taste in the back of your mouth, but it was harmless. He tells the commander of the Neurogloss.
Wait, so the pills weren't needed? Wait, then why were they giving them the pills if they weren't
an
needed?
organ that the Space Marines have that is able to detect the chemical components of anything that they eat. He takes one of the pills from him and puts it in his mouth, swishes it back and forth, and a few seconds later he spits it out. It was poison. The Space Marine was able to detect a wide swath of different chemicals, many of which were known to be extremely carcinogenic.
What? Why? What? Why were they poisoning the guard?
He says that the poison is slow-acting and barely noticeable, and easily confused with other illnesses. But a person consuming these on a regular basis would, without fail, end up developing an extremely advanced form of cancer. The pills would—
What the fuck? Oh my god. Mechanicus, what the fuck? Admech was pranking them? That's more than a prank. That is more than a fucking prank, bro. That is horrific. The Admech they wanted more servitors, so they decided to kill the guard. The Admech have no chill, even with their allies. Yeah, these be friends.
Be fatal within a period of 5 to 7 years. The Colonel looks horrified by this revelation. The Mechanicus had been keeping all of the men under his command sick. He then realizes that he himself has been stationed here for approximately 6 years. He looks around the—
You're dead. Oh my god, he's dead. He's dead.
room,
He's fucking
all of
dead.
the flags of the different regiments that have died here, and sees countless names on plaques. He starts trying to estimate just how many men—
I still love Mechanicus, but I cannot condone this. This is fucked up. This is awful.
men and women the Mechanicus had murdered, but gives up after the calculation passes into the millions. The tech priest had ensured that anyone stationed on this world wouldn't live long enough to learn or tell anyone its secrets. The Space Marine asked the Colonel what they were really guarding here. What was this fortress built to protect? And why was it so important to the Mechanicus that they were willing to murder their own people? And that's all I'll say on that. I don't want to spoil—
No, I'm interested. I want to know what they're guarding. Okay, I'm going to read this book. That was so interesting. Fucked up, but so interesting. That's horrific that they'd give their fucking allies fucking super cancer just for defending the world.
Any more of this book than I already did. It's awesome, and you should definitely read it. I will point out that it's a little bit of an older book at this point. Some of the stuff in it is—
SPL, thank you 25 watch streak. Also, Ruby, what you injured that streak? 1 second, chat. My background needs a cuddle. Dribbles, come here. What you got there? Ruby, music, baby girl. What's up? What's up, man? So yeah, Ruby's the one that's she had half her lung removed and some heart surgery, so I'm very, very, very protective of her. So she starts whinging. It's like maternal instincts kick in, and I have to go cuddle her.
Kinda outdated. It was written before the Horus Heresy got started, and so the Iron Warriors in the book are sitting there summoning demons left and right, even though that's not really something we think of with the Iron Warriors nowadays.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's one of my favorite 40K books, and you should definitely check it out. It also has an audible version, so if you prefer audiobooks, then you have no excuse. You have to read it.
Oh, they do? Oh, then I'm fucking doing it. What video is this? Oh, let me link it in the chat real quick. Boom, boom, boom. There you go, guys. If you want the video, this is what we're watching.
Potentially the most iconic individuals within the entire Adeptus Mechanicus is that of the tech priests, men and women who, in their quest for knowledge, continue to replace more and more of their weak human flesh with ever more bizarre and powerful cybernetic components. They are a sprawling priesthood of technicians, scientists, and religious leaders, the children of the Omnissiah, purveyors of knowledge, and the seekers of the true nature of the machine god. If it wasn't for the combined efforts of the priesthood, humanity would have fallen apart long ago. However, they are also one of the most secretive orders within the Imperium of Man.
I kind of want to get art as a tech priest now. I'm not gonna lie. Some of this goes hard. Chat, should I get art of me as a tech priest? Yes or no? Buffy Drake 675. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. How are you?
Through their fanatical devotion to their faith, the majority of tech priests have come to believe that the acquisition of knowledge is worth any expenditure in resources or lives.
Yeah, right?
When we talk about the Adeptus Mechanicus, the term tech priest tends to get thrown around pretty liberally.
Sure, people, make a poll.
It's become something of a catch-all term for just about any member of the Mechanicus that is ranked higher than a menial. They are the guardians of machine spirits and the preservers of the traditions of technology. They are the ones that keep everything within the Imperium functioning through their mysterious and esoteric rituals, such as the rite of ignition, maintenance,
I'm sorry, but that's so horrific. That is so fucking horrific, bro.
and awakening. Most tech priests view their organic bodies as disgusting, a form more suitable for a beast than a being capable of reason and logic. Thus, with every scrap of worthless flesh they carve away, and every piece of blessed machinery they integrate into their body, they come one step closer to the pinnacle of creation.
Become machine. Become machine.
The blessed form of the machine god. As time passes and tech priests advance in their careers, they continue to replace more and more of their flesh. The amount of augmentations a tech priest has is normally indicative of their rank. Some particularly ancient magi at this point are little more than a brain floating in amniotic fluid within the confines of a twisting fusion of cables, armor plating, inbuilt weaponry, and flailing mechadendrites. It is the
Wait, so like the brains in jars from Superona, Futurama,
the belief of the priesthood of Mars that to cast off the weak frailties of flesh allows them to better continue their quest for knowledge. These upgrades can come in all kinds of different forms, whether they be bionic limbs and organs to make them stronger, faster, and all but immune to the weakness of age and disease. Bionic eyes that allow them to see far beyond the normal spectrum of human vision. Autosanguination, wherein all of their blood is replaced with a synthetic chemical substitute that is far more efficient at carrying oxygen. And
wait, so they don't have normal blood no more? I thought they still had blood. I didn't realize they fucking give themselves fucking motor oil, excuse you?
is also laced with a particular chemical concoction that aids in the rapid regeneration of damaged tissue. There are also a lot of different cortex implants, wherein multiple different circuits and chips are implanted into the brain's gray matter to dramatically improve memory and equip the priest with a wide range of computing capabilities that allow them to store and recall enormous amounts of data thousands of times faster than the brain of a normal.
Oh my god, I need that. I need that upgrade. Please give me that brain upgrade. They change their bodies to a superior fluid. They have super blood.
There's another thing called a mind impulse unit, or an MIU. Now, this one's a little bit more rare and is normally associated with the pilots of a Titan. But that's not to say that a regular tech priest can't use one. Normally, when they're installed, it allows them to directly link with and control a wide array of different machines, such as a shoulder-mounted weapon. Now, a particularly bizarre and rare form of augmentation is that of a binary cortex, wherein the brains of two tech priests are combined into one and inhabit the same physical form. Normally, one mind.
Why? Surely that'd be hell, right? That'd be awful. Two brains in one fucking body.
And personality end up dominating the other while retaining their entire sum of knowledge. Sometimes this is done when a tech priest is on the verge of death, so that their work may be continued by one of their disciples.
But still, though, that person is going to be conscious and they're stuck in somebody else's body with no control. That's horrible. when does Scooby-Doo show up? I don't know, but they're mostly introverts, so they have, they're mostly introverted, so they have friends now.
And other times, it is forced on unwilling individuals. Some, like the Archmagos Belisarius Call, are said to be a gestalt mind of dozens of different unique intellects absorbed by him over the many years, whether it be through...
I did not know that. I have no idea about that. Oh god.
The literal absorption of other minds, or through the process of stripping their own humanity away bit by bit. A tech priest's personality will begin to change the more augmentations they take on, becoming more like that of a cold, logic-driven machine, completely free of the weakness of emotion. Their speech is oftentimes a gargled mess, emitting from voxcasters that they've installed rather than organic vocal cords. Most tech priests do not see the value in social interactions, thus...
You know what, though? I still love Call, so I'm gonna give Call a pass. I'm heavily biased, but I'm giving Call a pass. He's allowed to do it.
Make no attempt to hide the horror of their true nature, let alone change their voice to something that sounds more natural to those not as blessed by the machine god as themselves. Now, on the other hand, there are tech priests who have gone to great lengths to preserve as much of their face as possible, and use highly advanced voice synthesizers, so you wouldn't be able to tell that they've been augmented at all. Normally, these tech priests take on a more diplomatic role within their hierarchy. Tech priests are the masters of dozens of different languages, and are able to pick up new ones remarkably quickly due to their neural implants. If they speak out loud at all, it's normally done in a form of binaric cant, as most communication is made non-verbally. The instantaneous transfer of information back and forth between multiple tech priests allows for the conveyance of thought, questions, answers, decisions, and raw data to be transmitted back and forth between them thousands of times faster than having a traditional conversation. They do this by communicating
so that's when these fucking speak in binary. Okay, it's just fucking faster. And I'm guessing too, like, the Imperials can't fucking, like, eavesdrop on them. That maybe. Okay, the poll ended. 6 people said yes, that I should dress up as tech priest in artwork. Also, how you stinker? Just give me 1 second, chat. I'm just doing something. 1 second. I'm checking on the delivery real quickly. Order history. Okay. Right.
What is known as the Noosphere, a piece of archaeotech from the Dark Age of technology that was originally discovered in ancient Egypt. To those who have been modified to interact with the Noosphere, information and communication
tech priests are just baby necrons who brutally
exist as a form of collective consciousness that emerges from the interaction between human minds. And when connected, information becomes visible as shoals of light. The way it's described in the novels Mechanicum and Brutal Cunning almost makes it seem like the Mechanicus' version of the internet. It's like an invisible force of data that exists all around us, but can only be perceived by those who have been modified and given access to it.
Oh,
the tech priests themselves.
So yeah, it's like the internet. Delivery through delivery? No, not through delivery. I'm checking on my Warhammer. Like I said, I ordered the Terminator Ancient last night, and I'm like, please get here. I want it now. Please, where is it? Where's my order, damn it? Where's my
make up
order?
the ruling class of a Forge world, but in a similar manner to the complex and unique forms each one of them can take, so too is their hierarchy. Now, bear in mind that we're talking about the tech priest hierarchy within the 42nd millennium, not the Holy Synod of the Lord Magos, which was a system used pre-heresy.
Hi, Summer Guy. I'm enjoying the rabbit hole so far. We are about to hit halfway through, and we're at 2 hours. This is a long video. I might have to split this into 2 parts.
And had its own distinct organizational systems. Tech priest ranks become more esoteric and cryptic the deeper one dwells into the Mechanicus' theocratic layers. There are thousands of different specialists that can be considered a tech priest, but not all tech priests are created equal, and there does exist a distinct hierarchy within their order, although it's constant.
Also, when is GW making this guy into a mini? I want him so bad. When is this one going to be mini?
Constantly in flux and admittedly pretty cryptic. Above all others is the Fabricator General, who is the ruler of an entire Forge world. Beneath him is his Fabricator Loci, which help him with all matters relating to ruling over the planet. Beneath these two groups are what we generally consider to be tech priests, as to refer to someone as notable as the Fabricator General or Fabricator Loci, simply as a tech priest, is a great insult. We can break these up into two categories, those of the four holy orders, the Magi, Genitors, Logi, and Artisans, and then everyone else underneath them such as Engine Seers, Transmechanics, Lex Mechanics, and Electro Priests.
There's so fucking many, holy shit. I thought it was just tech priest. And after that, it's not like anything, you're just like below, like you're at a grunt, essentially. If you get some model, phone them. Maybe. I did phone something last night, as you well know, you fucker.
So let's talk a little bit more about the four different holy orders. And first up is the Genitors. The Genitors are one of the four holy orders of tech priests, whose order is particularly obsessed with organic.
Are they the janitors of the AdMech by chance? Did anyone to clean up all the bio stuff?
Something that makes them stand in stark contrast to other tech priests who reject flesh as weak. They view those that dismiss organic components such as flesh and blood as inferior to steel and plasma as naive. Some may quietly make these observations and never act on them, while others are likely to combine mechanical augmentations with organic ones within themselves. Just by looking at them, you really couldn't tell them apart from other tech priests. They are still clothed in red robes and are host to a bunch of mechanical augmentations. But underneath those robes, a Genitor may have diverted from the traditional path of augmentation, and that they have embraced organic upgrades as well.
But isn't that like sacrilegious? Because they like, you know, the machine is good, the machine is God, we need to be more like God. Wouldn't that be against their tenets? Everybody generally calls them tech priests because unless you really need to technically distinguish specialists, it's easier to skip. Okay. Didn't they reveal new guitar? Yes, they did. They did, Tara, and we looked at them, and they look fucking awesome.
These may take the form of vat-grown muscles, toughened skin, or organically reinforced bones. Their interest and expertise in organics is not limited to the human form, as their quest for knowledge primarily leads them into the study of alien genetics, the ultimate goal being to understand exactly how they function in order to perfect the art of their eradication. This subsect of Genitors is normally called a xenobiologist.
So they do it so they can understand their enemies better to wipe them out. Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. The fucking Sun Tzu thing, like you need to know your enemy and yourself. What is this human body if not an organic machine? A fucking travesty sometimes, but also amazing in other times. It's a mixed bag, a human body. I'm glad I have one, though.
They are of great aid to the exploratory fleets, as expertise in non-human forms allows them to quickly discern and catalog newly encountered xenos or indigenous species, as well as documented and understand new variations of abhumans found throughout the galaxy. Artisans, on the other hand, are a type of tech priest that primarily is tasked with designing and constructing engines, war machines, building spacecrafts, weapons, military hardware, and just about everything else you can think of. They are the tinkerers and engineers, and often oversee the activity of their forge world through the control of vast labor forces and servitors. Artisans create wondrous devices of archaic beauty and lethal efficiency. Their
give me one of these, please. These guys sound cool.
ornate weapons and ingenious war gear is highly sought after by those who live within the Imperium. Some different ranks of artisans include that of the Forge Lord, a title that was more prominently used pre-heresy and indicates the ruler of one of the many mighty forges across the surface of a forged world. Mechasapiens, printer electroids, cybersmiths, neuromechanics, and techno-archaeologists, the last of which being individuals whose quest for knowledge takes the form of seeking out lost archaeotech in order to recover it and better understand its functions.
Bro, don't get in the way of those ones. They'll fuck you up for that archaeotech. They will fuck shit up for archaeotech. They'll be like, mine.
The third holy order is that of the Logi. They are the tech priests that are all about numbers. They serve the Mechanicus as—
Oh no, they're not. They're nerds. These are the nerds. Nobody likes these ones. They like maths, so maths cringe.
Data analysts, statisticians, and logisticians. Their purpose is to describe future events through mathematics and make accurate forecasts about future expenditures and needs. They are number crunchers who have been heavily augmented and can analyze data thousands of times faster than anyone else. But even though there's nothing mystical about what they do, the members of the cult tend to view them as prophetic holy figures that are able to glimpse into the future by digging feverishly through the physical and abstract strata of the universe in order to acquire as much raw physical data as possible. Some of the tech priest ranks within the Holy Order of Logi are that of the Lexio Arcanus, Bibliophiliac, Hyperrationalists.
Bibliophiliac. What the fuck are these names, bro? I know 40k has goofy names, but these are something
Monitor
extra.
Malevolus, and Biocogitatus. The final order is that of the Magi. A Magos is an individual tech priest who has been recognized as one of the absolute brightest minds within their respective field. Thus, the title of Magos brings with it a hefty amount of respect. The term Magos can be granted to just about any tech priest, regardless of their
It's also Magos, not Magos. Magos, Omega,
specialization. There are Magos Biologists, Magos Explorators, and Magos Cybernetica, just to name a few.
Okay, I actually don't know what it is, but I know the way he's saying it is incorrect. I know that
Admittedly, there is a bit of confusion over whether or not Magos is a title, rank, or a distinct order. And the sources tend to vary on this and have different interpretations. The generally accepted view is that Magos is a catch-all rank for a master of a particular discipline. The way I think of it is with a title like that of doctor. There are tons of different doctors. You can be a doctor of archaeology, a doctor of economics, or a doctor of just about any other academic field. It's not a perfect analogy, but
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. They have like specific like areas of expertise.
I hope that helps. Anyways, the Magi are considered one of the 4 holy orders, and a tech priest from one of the other orders is not excluded from bearing the title of Magos. They are often recognizable by the extreme levels of augmentation that they have received, of some of which may at this point be little more than a brain and a couple of organs piloting a mechanized body.
Please, GW, I beg you, please make a model where it's just a brain in a jar. Oh, VTCS crashed. Oh no, we're good, we're good. I want a tech priest like Dominus, where it's just a brain in a jar. That I would, I love that so much. David, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. How are you?
Of hundreds, if not thousands, of upgraded components. These most senior of tech priests are given access to a place within the Forge world known as the Machine Altars that contains the sum of all knowledge the Mechanicus has ever obtained. Magi of countless kinds plumb the depths of increasingly narrow ravines of arcane data, heedless of the cost in their thrall servants' lives. If you remember earlier in the video, one of the key universal truths is that to break from tradition is to break from faith. To pursue forbidden technology, whether it be experimentation with AIs or
Hi Davis, how are you? How are you?
Anything not created by human hands is a blasphemous sin punishable by death. When it comes to the Magos, they have a tendency to admittedly be somewhat arrogant. Some of them are thousands of years old and have been gifted with so much insight into the universe that their sum total of knowledge contained within them is on a scale simply incomprehensible to us mortals. In this regard, many of them tend to think of themselves as above the laws of the Mechanicus and will pursue knowledge that runs counter to their sacred doctrines. It's not that they don't believe.
Sorry guys, those went ballistic again, but I'm back. Let me just rewind.
Even will pursue this regained and have been gifted with so much insight into the universe that their sum total of knowledge contained within them is on a scale simply incomprehensible to us mortals. In this regard, many of them tend to think of themselves as above the laws of the Mechanicus and will pursue
Boop yourself, Rogray.
Knowledge that runs counter to their sacred doctrines. It's not that they don't believe in these restraints, as they definitely see them as serving a very important purpose, just that laws and rigid adherence to them is something to be practiced by lesser tech priests. For a Magos, the quest for knowledge can take a lot of different forms, and why they would end up pursuing forbidden research varies from Magos to Magos. And in fairness, it's not all of them. Perhaps they discovered lore that was so terrible, it became a nigh unbearable burden. Questions plaguing their mind that demanded to be answered. Or mayhaps they may have encountered some form of Xenos technology that they believe, if properly understood.
Great, what the fuck? Thank you for two gifts subs, excuse you. Hi Nifia, how are you doing today? I'm doing good. We're just reacting to the WesHammer lore, because I'm in a tech priesty mood. I'm in a Adeptus Mechanicus mood. And I saw this video and it looked interesting. It's a long one though. We might have to do this in 2 parts, chat. I'm gonna be real.
Would ultimately prove to be beneficial to mankind. That the purest form of that data belonged to the Omnissiah, and it was their mission to pry it from the vile hands of the alien, purify it, and add it to the sum total of knowledge.
Okay, based. Also, great. Thank you for the 2 gifts of Goober. But why though? Why? Why are we gifting subs, huh? Why are we gifting subs? It's not necessary.
A Magos engaged in such a pursuit might find himself shunned or outright rejected by his peers, as the cult is conservative to the extreme. That's not to say that their pursuits themselves are ultimately rejected. The Mechanicus does adopt new technology, just incredibly slowly, as they have seen the horrors that experimentation can produce. Better to consult the wisdom of the ancients rather than experimenting with the unknown. There are many cases where a Magos produced such a sum total of knowledge that
God, you're cute. Wow, rude. Rude of you, Gray. I can't believe you. I can't believe you do something so
got
mean.
him or her labeled as a heretic and sentenced to death, only for decades or even centuries later to be raised to a status similar to that of a saint, and their great work finally celebrated. Because of the blatant
That's such a shit deal. You do something that's actually good, and then they fucking go, no, that's heresy, you're a heretic for doing that, kill you, and then hundreds of years later, they realize, oh, this thing that one Magos guy did that we killed, he actually did a good thing. This is a good thing. Oh my god, that's awful. What can I say? I'm a cruel person. Truly, you are the most cruelest of cruel.
hypocrisy within the Mechanicus, a wise Magos will do their best to separate themselves from their peers in order to pursue their quests. They often end up sharing common interests with Inquisitors, working together with them to hunt down a specific Xenos threat and/or artifact. It's a two-way relationship in that the Inquisitor gains a powerful ally that has enormous levels of insight into their particular quarry, and the Magos is given access to the Inquisitor's unlimited ability to procure whatever resources they need to fund their continued research.
Wait, yeah, that's actually a fucking sick deal for them. Nephi Secret in that no realms.
The ultimate goal of most Magos is to one day return to their order, where they will bow down before the altar of the Omnissiah, share the knowledge they have gained with the machine god, and if that knowledge is found worthy, then the sum total of all knowledge will be increased, even if it's only by a tiny amount. Such is the life's work and greatest reward of all those who serve the machine god.